guys, so we're gonna finally get into this eyebrow tutorial. I just want to welcome you guys back to my channel again. You're gonna be seeing two videos in this look with this top and this choker and everything, so it's all in the same day. So we're gonna go ahead and, like I said, just get into this eyebrow tutorial, and hopefully I can give you guys some good tips on how you can fill in your brows to where it looks as natural as possible and as realistic as possible, especially when you're someone like me who has sparse brows. So really and truly, this video is for all my sparse eyebrows gals. So you know, if you have full brows, you're free to watch as well, of course. But you know, like I said, this is going to be more targeted to women who have the sparser brows, like myself. So let's go ahead and begin, guys. Please stay tuned. With my brows, I've kind of been on this path of trying to find the best way to do my brows to where they're not as harsh looking, excuse me, and not as bold looking, because for a lot of people, brows are an important part of the face, and it really helps to bring a makeup look together. So I think it's important to, you know, make sure you know how to fill in your brows if you don't have much brows like me. I feel like for people who have fuller brows, you should not be doing much to your brows. If you have full brows, all you need to do is just make sure they're nicely groomed and have a nice shape. Don't ever take off too much. Your full brows are beautiful the way they are, okay? So if you have fuller brows, you never ever need to do very much, because I see a lot of times there are these young women who are doing their makeup and they have nice, beautiful, full brows, and they're like overdoing it. I'm so tired of these brows these days that are like super duper dark. Like, if your brows are naturally dark that way, great, that's perfect. But I'm tired of like these super duper dark brows that are extremely stark and just like, it just looks so like, to me it just makes the whole makeup look even, it makes the makeup look more even plasticky. Like, I don't know, I just haven't been liking that look lately. I just don't like it. If you have full brows, you do not need to do much to your brows whenever you're doing a full face of makeup. Just, you know, slightly fill in little areas, little sparse areas if you must, and you know, to give it more of a precise shape. You know, you can fill it in just slightly. You really should not be doing much. So anyway, let me stop rambling and finally get into dark. I like to use brown for my brows, dark brown, okay? Because like I told you guys, I'm not really feeling these days like really stark brows, and I'm still on this path of trying to find the best way for me to do my brows for how they will fit me the best. So you know, I'm more prone to using just dark brown products. So this is what I'm gonna be using, a dark brown pencil, and it's just a pencil I got at the beauty supply store. It was only 99 cents, and it's by color Stilo. We're gonna use this NYX Tame frame waterproof pomade. I love this product. It's bomb. Your eyebrows will not budge with this product. I kind of transfer back and forth between these two spoolies. This is one by e.l.f. It has the little brush end, eyebrow brush end, I guess. I don't know what kind of brush that's called. And then the spoolie on the end, and then I just have a regular spoolie. I love this spoolie, and this is one I normally use. This is also by e.l.f. An angled tapered brush, and I don't know who this is by. I think it's Clean Color, I want to say, but the name rubbed off. But I like this one a lot. It's nicely tapered and it gets the job done. And we'll also be using this. I've been liking this. I recently bought it on Nordstrom.com. And it's by Tweezerman, and it's a brow mousse. I don't know why it's called brow mousse, because it's not really moussey. It's just like a clear gel type of formula, and I use this to set my brows. So even though this is waterproof, just for extra security, I like to use this on top as well. Alright, first things first, you want to make sure you get or do a shape on your brows that is best fitting for your face. So of course you want to try to go with your natural shape of your brows, but if you're somebody like me who has two different shaped eyebrows and doesn't really have much shape to your brows, you got to create one. It's kind of just a learning process you're going to have to figure out for yourself. Now me personally, I feel like for any person, period, point blank, any person, I don't care what face shape you have, what skin tone you are, you got a round face, I don't care. I feel like extremely arched brows are very intimidating. They don't look good to me. So I would suggest to not go very extreme in your arch while you're in the process of trying to figure out your best shape that you want to create when filling in your brows. So first, I like to start out with the pencil. What we do with the pencil is basically we're mapping out or tracing out, we're creating the outline for our brow. So like that, that's pretty sharp enough, because when we outline the brows, we don't want the line that we're using to trace out the shape of our brow to be very stark or dark or heavy-handed. So by having it being sharp, it helps to give you a lighter hand in tracing out the brow. So first I'm going to go ahead and brush the brows. So as I told you guys already, because this one is slightly higher and this one is lower than this one, what I do is I brush these up. I brush this brow up. Okay, and then I just kind of brush this one down. That's it. So we're gonna go ahead now and create our shape in our brow. So normally I like to start with this brow, being that it is the one that is the slightly higher one. So this is the one that's gonna set the pace. And I start with tracing out the top first. Closely follow the actual brow, okay? But at the same time, I'm going to be creating slightly a shape for it, okay? So just kind of try to, watch what I'm doing. What I've been doing, I bring it in all the way. Look, we're creating a unibrow first because I wanted to try to be as even as possible. There's this saying that people say is that your brows are not twins, they're sisters. And this is obviously very true, okay? They're not as symmetrical as we like them to be. But that is what you should be trying to aim to do when you're creating brows from scratch. If that is not your goal to create twins, then you are going to fail miserably in doing your brows if you are creating brows from scratch, okay? So make sure your goal is to try to make it as close to being twins as possible. It's not going to come out like twins, but it's going to be pretty damn close, okay? So I kind of just I'm creating a unibrow here, right? We're going to look real crazy. But I promise you, y'all, it's going to come out good. So I'm bringing it all the way in. And then the tip ends, it should end slightly at the ending focal point of your eye. At the outer corner and slightly slant. This is how it should be, okay? That's where the tip of your brow should end. It should not end drifting into your hairline or, I mean, yeah, no. Okay, all right. So now we're gonna go ahead and do this one. And if y'all see, I'm holding the bottom part of the pencil. I'm holding the bottom part because whenever you are excuse me, whenever you're holding the bottom part of your makeup tool, whether it be a brush, pencil, as we're using now, that is how you can get better control of having a lighter hand. Okay? So we've got our shape. We've got our unibrow going. Hey, that's about to be the new makeup trend. All right, so now I'm gonna start with this brow and tracing out the bottom part. And because, like I told you, with this one being lower than this one, I am following as close to the brow hairline as possible in creating the shape. See, there we go. And then with this one, we're not going to be able to follow as close to the hairline with this one, with it being slightly higher than this one. So we're just going to be going slightly lower than the actual brow outline. And then as we get up closer to the arch, then we get closer to the hairline. And then we're connecting it to the tail. Okay? So we got our unibrow going, y'all. How I look? I look cute. What I've been doing lately is filling in, actually, because the end part of your brow, it is okay if that part is slightly darker as it gets towards the end tip of the brow, because that's where it's more precise and sharp there. Okay, so I'm just gonna actually fill it in with the pencil, just the tip. And do the same. The slanted eyebrow brush. That's what I call it, eyebrow brush. I don't know what it's called, but it's an angled brush. And then that product that we put onto it, the NYX Pommade Tinted Tame and Frame. We're gonna go ahead and just like slightly tap it in. And I'm gonna show you guys what I mean. And we're starting at the back of the brow, right? Because as we come in, we want it to kind of be lighter because we don't want the front part of our brow to be very stark and like crazy looking. I'm also kind of like taking the liner that we use and kind of brushing it in. I'm actually not liking this because it's coming out too dark. So what I'm doing here, I'm brushing out the product. See, I'm not minding seeing sparse areas because that is helping to make it look more natural or realistic looking, okay? So just taking that spoolie and brushing out that product. All right. And I'm just gonna use the spoolie to brush the product at the front and then brushing the rest through. I'm gonna go back in. I'm just gonna slightly tap into the product because as we saw, it really picks up a lot. Okay. And what we're also doing is kind of taking the product from the pencil and filling in the end part with the pencil and pushing it upwards to the as we're coming to the front. And you see as we get to the front, the product is starting to fade, and that's exactly what we want. That's what we start at the back. Alright. Just gonna brush through with the spoolie. Take the pencil slightly. Okay, so now I have the brows to my liking. Okay, now I'm just gonna brush away the unibrow part. Just take your finger and brush away the unibrow part, and also the front part. You know, just kind of tap it over the front part so that we don't have a harsh line or anything in the front going on. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and set the brow with the Tweezerman brow mousse. the way I use it, I actually take the tip. I don't usually, sometimes I use it like this, but I usually take it by the tip because I feel that's where the most of the product is. So I just take it and brush it over the brows. Again, this product gives it even more security and not budging as much. We're gonna need a concealer brush. I love to use this because it's very small and it can really carve out that brow. This is by Wet n Wild. This is my, of course, same one I always use, my LA Girl Pro Conceal in the color medium beige. So when you're carving out your brows, this is fair to being my color. It is just slightly lighter. When carving out your brows, some people like to have a really light brow bone, and that's fine. They like to highlight their brow bone. But the problem with that is that they're using that to also clean and carve out the top. If you're the type of person that likes to have a lighter brow bone, I would suggest to use a different color that matches your skin tone, whether it's your foundation or concealer, and use it to carve out or clean up the top part of your brow. So whatever you're using down here, if it's lighter to highlight it, do not use it on the top. Use something that's your color, a foundation or concealer that's your color, to carve out or clean up the top. So I just slightly squeeze it out and then tap into it, and then we're going to begin from the front, taking it in light strokes. And if you need to clean up your brows and you get your brows done, the concealer helps to camouflage that to where you really can't tell that you need to get your brows done. Make sure that you're careful when doing this part because you don't want to mess up the brow, but you also are kind of like cleaning up the shape of what you created. So make sure you're taking your time and doing it well. And here I'm just using my e.l.f. foundation brush to blend out that concealer that we use to basically clean up and give a more precise look to the brow. So I'm just, carefully taking that brush and pulling it down towards the eyelid. Sometimes when I go to work and I don't, and I'm not planning on wearing makeup, I still fill in my brows. So what I do is I don't clean it up with concealer since I'm not going to be wearing makeup. I'll just look crazy if I'm cleaning up with concealer. That's crazy. So what I do to clean up the brows, and at this point, if your eyebrows are really unruly and they do need to get cleaned up, I would suggest that you go in with the tweezers a little bit and clean up a little bit on the outside parts. But what I then do is you can take like a makeup remover, or what I use is a coconut toner that I have, and it's this micellar water with coconut water as well. I would take that, and then I use a small concealer brush. The one that I normally use, I don't know where it is right now, but I use a small concealer brush, and I would just dip into that toner and use it to carve out and clean up the brow. And that's it. That's if you're, filling in your brow and you're not going to be like wearing any makeup. And here I'm just further blending it out to get up closer onto that line and blend out the concealer with my Real Techniques pointed foundation brush. So there we have it. They are as close to being twins as you're gonna get, okay? Because like I told y'all, that should be your goal. They're not ever gonna come out perfectly symmetrical, but your goal should be to try to get it as close to being twins as possible. So that way you can achieve a crisp brow. So I hope that you guys were able to take some tips away here from me doing this eyebrow tutorial look. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here because right after this I'm gonna be getting into doing a tutorial, a full face makeup look tutorial. So I hope that you guys were able to take something from this video if you have really sparse eyebrows like me. I feel you, girl. I feel it. But, you know what I'm saying, you can get a really nice filled in brow with the products that I've shown you, ladies. So I hope that you guys have a good and blessed day, and thanks again for stopping by on my channel. Bye.